welcome back to Chasing Trophies. So we have two other matchups confirmed now in the round of 32 and two massive matchups. We got Brazil versus Japan and Netherlands versus Morocco, man. This is going to be a crazy two fixtures. I think Netherlands Morocco potentially will be the toughest fixture. Both teams attacking, both teams can concede goals, but it's going to be a very exciting fixture. It'll be interesting to see how they end up executing the skills on that day. बहुत मजा आने वाला है वो मैच में. I think that game is going to be in Mexico, and then the Brazil versus Japan game, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be in Houston, Texas. So that is what's going to happen today. Netherlands convincingly beating Tunisia 3-1. It was a very good performance. Brian Bobby, man, Brian Bobby. He is an absolute find right now of the tournament so far for Netherlands. A genius move from bringing him on and starting him in the last two games. He looks like he's on fire. And Bakika Netherlands looking very solid going forward, but at the back they're looking less solid. I don't know why the case is. Van Heck got the goal today, but defensively they are conceding, so that's going to be a bit tricky for them going against a Morocco team who look like to attack as well. Ismail Sabri is somebody who's in very good form, so they have to watch out. That game can go anywhere. Then we had the Japan versus Sweden game. वो भाई बहुत बढ़िया जबरदस्त मैच था. Japan plays such beautiful football, smooth as silk, मस्के वाला फुटबॉल खेलते. जिस तरीके से उन लोग पासिंग कर रहे हैं, जिस तरीके से उनकी मूवमेंट है, their turns has been really good. And whenever they receive the ball, they have space around them, and then they find that pinpoint pass. Look at the goal from Japan today, man. That was a beautifully made team goal. बहुत जबरदस्त, बहुत आला, जो भी बोलना चाह रहे. 1-2 भी था उसमें एक अच्छा क्रॉस भी था, उसमें डायगोनल पास भी था. Brilliant goal from them. And then the Sweden goal was an absolute banger, bro. Anthony Elanga rhythm as a dancer, striking with his left foot. Beautiful finish. बहुत आखिरी जबरदस्त बेहतरीन गोल था Elanga का. And yeah, man, Sweden also getting the point is very important because if they lost this game, it would have been very difficult for them to qualify on 3 points. The teams with 4 points have better chance of qualifying. Ecuador earlier in the day, man, they stunned the world by beating Germany 2-1. Ecuador have been the dark horses for me this whole tournament, but they didn't perform to the level that we expected. They weren't executing, right? They had good chances against Curacao. They had good chances against Ivory Coast, but they were not being able to finish. Today, they finished their dinner, man. And Germany, the massive Germany that we thought, will comfortably win this group, which they did in the end, but they did lose to Ecuador, and Germany will not be that happy with the performances in the group stages. They'll be happy that they've qualified for sure, but the way they played against Ivory Coast and Ecuador, they did not look like the stronger team in that. So that is something they'll have to go see, but it's going to be knockout football. They can definitely work on their improvements wherever they need to improve. But बाकी का यार हाँ, like Japan Brazil वाला game भी बेहतरीन होने वाला है यार, because Brazil like to play that samba football, the upbeat attacking football, and Japan on the other hand, they don't give up, man. They keep running, they keep at it. हाँ, उनका थोड़ा सा high disadvantage हो सकता है, and कभी-कभी pressure में they can misplace passes, because I feel they lack a bit of that experience in terms of like a Modric type player in that midfield, or maybe a striker who can finish their dinner at any time. They miss that a bit. Apart from that, they're really good. They're a very good functional team, like a not robotic, but they're a well-oiled team. They know, जब आप गाड़ी start करते, आपकी ignition चल रही है, आपकी gearbox चल रहा है, आपका accelerator चल रहा है, brake चल रहा है. They're like that, man. They're very smooth. उनकी servicing the rows होती है, and whichever player comes in, they fit the system. They had a big player missing as well. But apart from that, there's still whichever player comes in, whatever substitutions are being made, they still play in that kind of brand of football, which is beautiful. Mitoma from Brighton is a very good player, very big player. If he was there in this team, they would have been better. But you don't seem to miss him because of the way that they're playing. आगे देखेंगे क्या होता है. I think that's going to be a fantastic game. Also, man, if you didn't see that Ecuador Germany game, that was a crazy game, bro. They were outstanding. They were really good. I think the way that they played was fantastic. And Ecuador, like I said, finishing thoda masla tha. Otherwise, they were really, really good, man, in this tournament. But it looked like they were getting knocked out. That is the crazy thing about this World Cup, right? Ecuador, no one was giving them a chance. Even I'm like, man, they wasted their chance, just like Turkey did, just like Belgium were doing. I thought the same thing will happen with Ecuador, but they stepped up. We saw that with South Africa, we saw that with Ecuador, and now Sweden, though they just needed the point, but there was a very well worked point for Sweden. Gyökeres was a bit aggressive today. Yellow card bhi kha liya tha. He was complaining to the referees and stuff like that. But him and Isak up front, it's good to see. Like, two strikers. We don't really see that in football these days. But it's good to see two strikers up front there, and it shows that they can create chances. Again, Sweden defensively is a bit of a worry, I feel, but attacking wise, they do have options, and they saw that even against a very good Japan team who were well settled in the game. I felt that they were pretty good, man. Sweden, the way they came back into the game with that goal, and they had chances in the end. The Japan goalkeeper was outstanding, but he was pulling some really nice saves towards the end. Otherwise, Sweden could have, Isak had a good chance with the header. I think Elanga had a very good chance, when that run was beautiful from Elanga as well. He could have had his second. And yeah, I think with the attacking threats they have between Isak, Elanga, and Gyökeres, Sweden can produce chances. It'll be interesting to see. They might play Germany, they might play somebody else in the round of 32, but it will be an exciting time whenever Sweden play, because they have that attacking threat. But defensively, उन लोगों को काम करना पड़ेगा. Lindelof, man, he's not on that level, I feel. There was a period he was playing for United and everything like that, but now he's getting older as well. I just don't feel he's on that level, Mr. Lindelof. And then, we at the time of recording, we still haven't seen the USA-Turkey game and the Paraguay-Australia. That will be also very important, because if Australia beat Paraguay, they will be second, and if it's a draw, then both teams can finish second, third, and qualify as well. So देखना पड़ेगा क्या होने वाला है वो गेम में. But let me know in the comments, what are you thinking, man? What are your predictions? At least for the fixtures right now that we know which are confirmed is Canada versus South Africa. That's going to be in LA. That is going to be a good game. Canada, look, they would have ideally liked to play in Vancouver against the third place team, maybe Bosnia or somebody in in Vancouver, in Canada, but now they'll have to travel to LA to play South Africa. But South Africa is an opposition, maybe they were not expecting. They probably were expecting South Korea, which would have been much tougher. So maybe it's not all that bad for them, but they have 1 day less recovery, Canada, and 1 day less training. But उन लोगों को South Africa मिल गया, which they might not be too upset about, but you can't take South Africa lightly anymore. I mean, the form में आ रहे हैं उन लोग हल्का. But Canada, playing in the home ground and in front of the home crowd, that's what they probably would have preferred. If they do beat South Africa, it'll be interesting to see where they play in the round of 16. Will they go back to Canada or they stay in the US? वो देखना पड़ेगा from that end. But yeah, USA might play Bosnia. They might play another third place team. They also have a good route, I think, in the next few knockout matches. But up se bhai, so now there's going to be another 2 days of group stages, of Friday and Saturday, and then after that it's going to be knockout football. There's going to be penalties, there's going to be extra time, it's going to be exciting, it's going to be thrilling, exhilarating, and one mistake here and there can knock out a team completely. One chance here and there can take the team to the next round. So it's going to be very exciting. The Colombia-Portugal game is an exciting group stage game that I'm looking forward to, because it'll be important for either team to win to top that group, so they have an easier route. If Portugal comes second, they have a very tough route in England, France, Spain. They'll have to play these three teams. If they win, then the route will be easier. Same thing for Colombia. So वो match भी important होगा. Saudi Arabia, Cape Verde, whoever wins that game will go second, I think, unless Uruguay upsets Spain. तो देखना पड़ेगा ये ग्रुप स्टेज में क्या होगा. फ्रांस नॉर्वे का भी मैच बहुत तगड़ा होगा. जो भी जीता वहां पे they'll top the group, and वो भी थोड़ा सा हिल सकता ना. If France lose, Norway win, then Norway become group toppers and France might have a tough route. तो ये भी देखना पड़ेगा. मजा आने वाला है भाई. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, subscribe button, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you everybody for joining, and take care. Good night.